This morning, Dave Hogan from the Mount Dora Children's Home is with us. Mount Dora Children's Home and School, I guess I'm not sure if that's exactly the way they say it these days, but Dave works in donor relations with the children's home there. You know, Mount Dora has been in existence since 1945, and this congregation, I think, has supported it since the early 50s, at least. I can remember as just a kid, announcements that, you know, the Mount Dora van is coming, the Mount Dora food truck is coming this weekend. So this congregation has been a supporter of Mount Dora for many, many years. Dave's a good friend. I've known him for 7 years or more, and so he's got some good information to share with us this morning. So Dave, come on up.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that, and it's great to be back here. Shane and I were talking earlier, and I believe it was 2015 was the last time I was here at this congregation. That, you know, it's amazing how the years fly by, don't they? It doesn't seem that long, but it has. And some of you know I was supposed to be here in April and had a bike accident and broke my elbow and had to cancel at the last minute. So sorry about that. But so I've been looking for the next opportunity. I was in this part of the state, it could come by. So it's a real pleasure to be here today. And thank you, Steve, for your introduction. And I want to thank the elders here for their support of what we do at Mount Dora Children's Home. You all, as Steve said, have supported us for a long, long time. The home was founded in 1945, so you've been supporting us perhaps the entire time, but certainly almost all those 75 plus years. You've been in our corner and helping make possible what we do, you know, for children and families in Mount Dora. Because as we always say, we can't do it, you know, without help from the church community and from individuals that support us. So thanks to all of you, and thanks Ross for if you're helping getting everything set up this morning and for your assistance along the way. And of course, I know many of you here are individual supporters and have been on campus at some point in the past and have shown support in a variety of ways. So I want to thank each of you individually as well as the congregation, you know, as a whole for your support. So I'm going to talk to you this morning some about, you know, what we do at Mount Dora. And again, I know many of you are very familiar with us. So I will try to give some updates too, things that if you haven't been on campus or heard the presentation recently, you might not be as aware of. In terms of our, let's see, let me get this to work for me here. Doesn't seem to be advancing unless. There we go. Okay, working out. Thank you. As I said, we've been in existence since 1945. A number of brothers and sisters in the Churches of Christ, really around South Georgia and Florida, got together and decided there was a need for an institution like this. And from the beginning, the plan was to have a school and a children's home on the same campus, which is a somewhat unique model within Churches of Christ. We have a number of wonderful children's homes in our brotherhood. We're grateful for all of them, but our model is different from most because of the academy there with the school and out with the home. Now we'll talk about that and why that's a good thing for the kids in the children's home as we go by. We tried to stay true to our mission along the way, to build on our legacy of faith and service. We educate, equip, and empower our community to love God and others, pursue excellence, and impact our world. And that's very important to us to have that mission. Our new president, Dr. Brian Mast, I know some of you have met Brian, has been with us about 2 years now. He was an educator, was with Lipscomb University before coming to us. He had the misfortune of coming to become, you know, the new president of this academy and home in January of last year. And I'll think about that for a minute. It was right before, you know, COVID hit. So 2 months, I guess, after he came, the school was in lockdown and, you know, it was just a mess. So his first year didn't go quite as planned, but he's a great guy, a man of faith, a wonderful educator, academically trained for the job, and has a real heart for children. He and his wife have 2 adopted children themselves, and he loves what we do at the children's home as well as at the academy. But he has put a renewed focus, particularly on the spiritual development of the children and the families at the children's home, and why that should be our #1 priority. Thank you. Yes, we're there, of course, to care for their physical needs and to give them tutoring and all that, but first and foremost, we're there for their spiritual development. Let me talk about the Academy for a minute. The Academy has about 700 students now, and it's been on a growth curve now for several years. We dipped as low as a little below 500 at one point, and we're back up now to around the 700 mark. And as I said, under Dr. Mass' leadership particularly, we have really stepped up the academic excellence at the school. It's, I guess what you'd call a college prep type academy. It is the largest private school in the Mount Dora area. And so we have a great relationship with the community. We are very well known there. And it's kind of the school of choice that families, parents in the area want to have their kids attend. We have an excellent athletic program as well as academics and other extracurricular activities, drama and band and all those sorts of activities that schools have. Our elementary school was named a National Blue Ribbon School, which is a high honor. We were the only school in Lake County to have this distinction. It's actually a designation from the U.S. Department of Education, and there's only a relatively few number of schools in the state of Florida with this designation. It's a mark of excellence to become a Blue Ribbon school. About 2 years ago, we began what we call the biomedical science program, and this has been a big plus too for the students in the high school. They can train for careers in the healthcare field, and they're high school kids, but primarily it's giving them exposure. What are the opportunities in healthcare? They get some hands-on experience, get to work with people in the local healthcare community, and get some initial training to help them understand what they might be able to do after high school. Because so many kids really don't know, when you're 17, 18, you got to pick a college, you got to pick a major. You really don't know what the options are. So this program has been very popular with our kids. And we have a new science building too. I believe that's a picture of it actually there in the slide. Science building was built about 5 years ago. And we just this summer did an inside expansion to create more classroom space for laboratories in the science building. If you ever come to campus, be sure to come and see it. It's one of our nicest buildings. We have graduates from the Academy throughout the state of Florida. I think pretty much anywhere you go, sorry, wrong one. I may have just turned it off. Here we go. We have graduates from throughout the state of Florida who are from the Academy. And I think they have had a great impact on the church community around Florida. I don't know, anyone here happen to have attended the old Christian Home and Bible School Academy back in the day? But it's not uncommon wherever I go to find folks who have. And many times they are in positions, they're Bible teachers, they are VBS leaders, they're elders, deacons, whatever, maybe ministers. And the training they received at the Academy was influential to them. Students from the children's home attend the Academy. And here's where the tie-in becomes important to what we're talking about today. Thanks to the Academy, these kids, most of whom came from unchurched homes, didn't really know much about the Bible, didn't have parents who were teaching them these things, are now taking daily Bible classes. From the time they were little tots all the way up through 12th grade, they're in daily Bible classes and daily chapel services. So they receive a lot of instruction and inspiration during that time. Also, probably one of the most important parts is the fact that they are being taught by Christian teachers and coaches. A lot of the children from the children's home side, they come in, they're academically behind, but they have good, in some cases, athletic skills. And so oftentimes, it's not a house parent, it's not a counselor, it's not even a teacher in the classroom, it's a coach that really reaches those kids. Any of you have been involved, youth sports and coaching, you know what I mean, right? But on a school like ours, on a campus where these kids need role models, and some of them especially need male role models in their lives, they don't have that. These coaches have a powerful influence on some of these young people, a powerful influence for good. So having Christians in those roles who understand that this is not just a job, it's not just about sports, it's a ministry, it's a mission. And so having that attitude as they go onto the ball fields or wherever makes a huge difference to some of these children. as I said, many of these kids are behind academically when they first come onto our campus, and so we have a tutoring program set up for them to help get them up to speed with their peers. And in some cases they do catch up within a year or two and are doing quite well. But that's important to us. And then, of course, is giving them, like we do all of our students at the Academy, giving them exposure to what their opportunities are. It might be a trade school, it might be a state college, or it might be a four-year university, what some of the career opportunities are that meet their skill set and interest. And so we give them that type of information so they can be more successful when they leave our program. And by the way, too, I might also mention, before I leave that, when they leave our program, this kids from the home, we don't forget about them. We have a practice of following up with them, trying to stay in touch. And we have had kids who really just didn't have anywhere else to go, who didn't have anybody to lean on, who have continued to come back, particularly during their college years, or, until they kind of get on their feet. Eventually, they find their way, and they don't need us particularly anymore in that way. But we have a young lady right now. Her name's Blessing. She's on a athletic scholarship to a small college, and she's from Africa and has nowhere to go on Christmas breaks, even in the summer. She hasn't been home, partly because of COVID and partly for financial reasons. I don't think she's seen her family in about 4 years. And she was high school, she's college now. So she comes, she knows she's welcome to come back to our campus on all the holidays and summer and stay with us. We had another young lady, some of you probably have met in the past. She was there for a long time, spoke at some of the benefit dinners, Sierra, who was also kind of the same boat. She did not have anywhere to go back to, and we actually made her an apartment on campus her first year out of high school. It wasn't really appropriate, she wasn't going to stay in a dorm with all the other kids. She was out of school now and wanted her independence. So it was a good transition for her. We made her an apartment, a place to stay on campus where she could come and go as she wished, and she had a job, in town. So that was a good transition for her into her further adulthood. This is the class of 2021 from the Academy, and 15 of these children work from the children's home. I'm sorry, not in this class, excuse me. It mentions here about the scholarship dollars awarded. 15 of those kids from the children's home were among those who received scholarships to go on to college. And we do have a scholarship fund. We started probably 5 or 6 years ago on campus because we saw the need for kids from the home program who had the academic ability to go to college but didn't have any money. And you think about it, if you've been a parent of a kid going to college, even if they get scholarships, they still need some extra help, right? But we at least provide them with some basic scholarship money that they could go and start college. We never, by the way, just a matter of principle, we never paid all their way. We didn't feel that was right. They need to have a little bit of skin in the game too. So we wanted them you can get a job, you can get work study, you can do things while you're in school, so do it. So we kind of worked with them to come up with a plan, but we did have that scholarship money to help them in that regard. 15 of our former students in recent years have attended college. I think we have 7 recent graduates in college at some point right now. And I'll talk a little bit about some of those on another slide going forward. As far as the children's home work itself, moving from the academy to the home, and they are very, very, intertwined. We share the same campus. But the children's home said, founded in 1945, have a beautiful 70-acre campus. How many of you have been on the campus at some point? No, Jeff got down, of course. Okay. Really encourage you to think about coming down sometime to see us. There's nothing like seeing the work firsthand. That's really what got our attention, right? My wife Kathy's here with me, and back in 2014, I was working at Faulkner University. And James Moore, who was president at the time, called me and said he was in town, wanted to talk to me. I figured he wanted money. If you know James, that's usually what he's asking for. But he said, we're going to have a job for you on our campus. And he knew I'd lived in Florida previously and was familiar with the work at the children's home. So, I said, well, we'll come down and check it out. So he said, just come down, spend the weekend, see the campus. And that's all it took to get us hooked. And here we are. So made the change from Faulkner to here. Faulkner's a fine institution too. But the work there will touch your heart, and the campus is a very beautiful campus. We're close to downtown Mount Dora, which is kind of a local tourist area itself. The downtown is one of those little charming small city downtowns that you will enjoy visiting. It's on the side of a lake, Lake Dora, and a nice place to come and spend a few days or a week or whatever. So if you are in the area, please do stop by and see us. We're also only an hour north of Orlando. So if you're going down to the theme parks or any of the vacation opportunities in the Orlando area, you pretty much pass pretty close to our campus when you're driving from here to there. So if you're doing so, call one of us ahead of time. And again, Ross, Jeff Coates, Tribbles all know how to reach us if you don't have our number. But say, hey, we're going to be down there at such and such date. We'll have someone to meet you and show you around the campus. And we'll respect your time. If you tell us, I got an hour, let's get this going, we'll keep it to an hour, however much time you have. But I think you would enjoy seeing the campus. I said we've had a heart for serving orphans for the entire time we've been in existence. But let me add, both then and now, most of the kids on the campus are not really truly orphans in the traditional sense. They have family. They have biological family. So why are they with us? Well, many of the families, for a variety of reasons, are just not able, capable, whatever, of raising the kids themselves. It's not necessarily they don't love their kids, just their life, frankly, is usually too messed up themselves. They got too many of their own problems to raise kids. And so we provide a good alternative. But what we found over the years, those kids, no matter how messed up mom and dad may be at home and how bad the life was there, they still are very loyal to their biological family. That's family. And family, is a strong word, right? And so we don't do anything to discourage them maintaining a relationship with family. Of course, provide us a safe situation to do so. And so back in the early days, back in the 50s actually, some of you may remember a gentleman, Jack McDonald, who used to be in this type row, went out and spoke at churches. He was with us for 19 years and was well known throughout the churches in Florida. Jack's situation was similar to this. His mother was not able, had several sons. I don't remember how many boys there were in that family right now, but she was on her own and couldn't handle it. These boys were growing and cost a lot of money, whatever. I don't know all the details, but they worked out a nice situation for her. She loved her boys, but knew she needed help. We gave her a job on campus so she could be near her boys, but they were in the children's home program. They lived in the dorm with all the other boys, but she was always nearby. So it's a cool situation. So, and today too, we still have, I'd say most of the kids actually who are on our campus do have biological family and still maintain some level of connection, relationship with them. Over the years, 1,600 children have been served through the residential program. Another 124 single parents have been helped through the single parent program. And I'll talk a little more detail about each of these programs as we have time going forward. But that's a lot of kids, a lot of families who have been helped over the years. And again, we can't do it without support from the community. It's expensive work. I mean, it just is. And sometimes people look at what we spend per child. They go, well, wouldn't it be cheaper just to put them in a regular home? I said, well, regular homes won't have tutors and counseling, and you don't know what some of these kids are like either when they come to us initially. They've had a tough background and they got a chip on their shoulder, and it takes a lot to work with some of these kids initially. So it's just a different setup. And then, of course, meeting all the state regulations. We are licensed, of course, with the state of Florida, and get inspected, all those sorts of things. But we've helped a lot of kids, and of course, with your continued support, we'll do so in the future as well. About 34% of the children in the U.S. live in single-parent homes. Now, can I just pause on that for just a second? We're not saying this is necessarily bad, and we wouldn't want, I'm sure I'm talking to some single parents probably right now, or maybe you were a single parent and your kids are grown now. Our hats are off to you, our hearts are out to you. It's a hard job being a single parent. And if you've done it, I'm sure you would agree with that. But we're not saying this is necessarily a bad thing. It just is. This is a change in our society. Yes, I think it's preferable. Every child grow up in a You know, Ozzie and Harriet family, you know, with mom and dad and everybody's happy and loved. That's the ideal. Unfortunately, in our world, that's not reality for a lot of families these days. I mean, a lot. And so it's something our churches have to come to grip with too, how to deal with this population and how to reach out and minister to them. But that's a different topic. But we need to be certainly sensitive to the needs of any single moms or parents you might have in the family or in the congregation here. Not every single mom is going to need help from a place like Mount Dora Children's Home, but many do. We usually have a waiting list of women who are trying to get in. They need help, and they want help. And we have a wonderful program to help them. And I'll, again, talk a little bit more about that on a future slide. But we have still a high percentage for a nation like ours of kids, too, who live in poverty. And that has all sorts of consequences. Again, not that having more money is necessarily, it's not a good or bad situation sometimes, but with poverty comes a lot of other negative consequences. And one of those is what you see here below, because maybe it's a single parent household where the mom is working 2 or 3 jobs, and the kids just don't get the supervision, not that she doesn't want to, but there's only so many hours in the day and only so much energy in anyone's life, right? And so these kids don't sometimes get the attention that they need, and they fall behind academically. Maybe they get in trouble behavior-wise or with the law. So a lot of bad things can happen in these situations if they don't get intervention. And so Mount Dora is there to love these families, to help them, and to not make them feel bad about their situation, but to show them that there's a better future that they can have. We try to instill hope and to encourage these kids and these moms who come to us. We have 2 programs on the campus, the residential program for it's the traditional children's home program here with dorms and all this. We're looking, by the way, I'll have a future slide on this, but just to give you a heads up, we're looking for a set of house parents right now for the boys' dorm. We've had to suspend the boys' dorm operation temporarily because we don't have a set of house parents for it. And they're not easy to come by. It's a unique job. It's a rewarding job in many ways, but it's a hard job. Because again, you're not just dealing with the average kids in the street. You're dealing with kids who have had they come to us with a lot of emotional baggage. And they probably won't trust you at first. They may not like the fact that they're in that situation. They don't want to be there, at first. So it's a tough job. It takes house parents who can handle that situation, to give both love and tough discipline, when it's needed at the same time. But it's a rewarding job because you're changing kids' lives. And so that's the residential group care program. We have a wonderful dorm for the girls right now. Great set of house parents. In fact, I think they're shown on a future slide. I'll mention them at that time. But we're happy, that they are with us. And then the single parent program has something that's emerged over really, I guess, the past decade that we've had this program. And it has grown and grown. It is now our dominant program. And what I mean by that is we serve more children through the single parent program than we do through the dorm program. Most of the single moms, when they come to us, they got 2, 3 kids. Some have had 4. And so we serve a lot of kids that way. And we treat them the same as if they were in the dorm in terms of the benefits they receive from us, the attention they get from us. Yes, at the end of the day, they go home and live with their mom, not a dorm, but they still get the same attention we do. And just in case I forget to mention it later, when I say they go home and live with their mom, that is still on our campus. We provide a small house or apartment for the single mom and her children. And so she is right on our campus. She's under our supervision as well as the kids. So it's a great program. And as society, again, has changed and the composition of the average household has changed, we do see this as a program that we'll probably be going forward with this is where we'll be putting our energy and resources because it does seem to be where the greatest need is. We always have a waiting list on that program. Really hard sometimes, by the way, to have to turn someone away who needs our services. We literally don't have a place to put them, at the time. But that's just the reality of it. We provide a number of services on the campus. This is really for the kids as well as for the single parents and their kids, the dorm kids and the single parent kids. A private education. All the kids who are on our campus unless it's special situations, like there's some special needs we can't handle, they have to go to public school. But provided they are capable of attending our school, they do get to go through Mount Dora Christian Academy, from preschool, 2-year-olds, all the way up through 12th grade, so they can be right there on our campus. And that's a huge benefit, again, for the reasons I've already mentioned. It can make a big change in their lives. We provide their books and supplies and all those incidental things they need to be successful in school. One of our things we feel strong about is these kids need to be treated, kids in the home program, like a normal kid, and they need to be able to fit in on campus. We would not ever want them stigmatized, like, oh, that's one of the children's home kids. We do not want that to happen. Some of the consequences of that is they can't wear rags. You just can't do that. Kids, of course, the peer pressure and all that. Fortunately, we now have a uniform policy on campus. That has helped. So all the kids look alike. And so you don't have the class differences that one kid's wearing, better clothes than another kid. But even when it comes to being able to participate in sports, extracurricular activities, to go on trips in the summer, mission trips or whatever it might be, youth group activities from the local church, we want these kids to be able to participate fully. If they want to do so. And so we provide the resources, the money to make that happen. As far as, of course, the house parents go, we also try to provide for their needs as well and their kids. We want to create a normal home life for the children in the program, especially in the dorm program. That is where sometimes the kids do feel more stigmatized because they're in an institution. It's a very nice home. If you've been there and seen the Thompson house where the girls live, it's beautiful. But still, from a 15-year-old's eyes, I'm living in an institution. So we do everything we can to try to overcome that and make them feel loved and relaxed and welcome there, that this is their home. Other services we provide include transportation, to get the kids to where they need to go for extracurricular activities, sports and whatnot. And the single moms, to the extent necessary, we do require the single moms have a car, and we will help them. We won't buy them a car, but we will help them if they come into the program without one to get something, that they can. And the reason we do that, we want them to either be going to school or working, the single moms, while they're in our program, so they can better themselves. So really kind of hard to do that in a town like Mount Dora without a car. But if they need additional transportation for them or their children, for doctor appointments and whatnot, we'll work with them the best we can. Especially for the single mothers, we provide a lot of financial mentoring. Many of these moms have gotten themselves into a lot of debt. They don't manage their money well, have not in the past. And so when they get through our program, we want them to be more skilled and capable to manage their household, including their finances when they come out. So we teach them a lot about, everything from managing your checkbook to the dangers of credit cards, to managing a debt overall and how to make this work, saving for your future. So we talk to them a lot about that. And we do encourage them, too, to save money. We talk to them about, okay, the single parent program, by the way, I didn't mention this, but it's a 2-year program. So they're on our campus living with us for 2 years. We pay for their rent, utilities. They get a pretty good deal while they're with us financially. So if they're working, which most of them are, what we tell them is, this is your chance. You got to save money because here's what's going to happen. 2 years from now, we're going to be saying, best wishes, it's time, your time's up. And then you're going to have to do this. You have to get an apartment. And if, you've been in that situation, a lot of you have, first month, last month, deposit. Oh, you have to hook up utilities. You might have to buy some furniture, appliances. It's a lot of money just to make the transition, let alone if you have to move somewhere for a job and pay U-Haul or someone to help you with the move. So we help provide money for them, or we encourage them to save money. Really, it's their money, but to save money so that when they come out, they have a nest egg they can work with. And some of these women coming out, of course, again, they're with us 2 years. And by the way, I say 2 years, we will fudge on that. If they are in an academic program and they got another semester to finish, we're not going to kick them off the campus, of course. So we've had women stay with us, I think, as long as 3.5 years. But it's because they were behaving, they were working toward a goal that made sense, and we were going to work with them. But it's generally a 2-year program. But at any rate, we encourage them to save money, and some have saved several $1,000s, and they were able to, well, in one case is Kim Johnson, one of our recent grads a couple years ago. She's the first one in the program I know of who said, no, I'm not going to rent an apartment, I'm going to buy a house. And she did. And that's like, wow, that's cool. Yes, now she got ways, it wasn't a Habitat house, but something kind of like that, where she had to have some assistance. But it's one of those where, you put a little sweat equity into it, and she got a nice new home for her and her 2 children. And by the way, she's become a director of her preschool. She started as a teacher. She's already been advanced up to a director. She's doing quite well. And I just heard this past week she's getting married soon. So Kim has done really well. And the Children's Home program certainly gave her a new chance at life. We put a strong emphasis on focusing on the outcomes for the kids as well as for the single moms. And again, number one outcome that we look for is a stronger relationship with God. Again, they come to us at different levels, particularly some of the single moms. Some of them come from strong faith backgrounds. Some have no faith background. We don't require them to be Church of Christ, when they come in, but of course we do require them to attend church on a regular basis while they're with us, and we, teach them the Bible and our view of it while they are with us. But we work strongly on encouraging them to have a stronger relationship with God, because we strongly believe their future success is going to hinge on that, and that's important. And by the way, for the moms in the program, we also try to encourage them how to teach your kids about faith. Some of them have never had the experience that most of us have with our kids. They've never read Bible stories to their kids. They don't have prayers at bedtime with the kids. That just wasn't part of the culture that they grew up in. And so these very basic things like this, again, depending on the mother, they're all different, but we will work with them to try to instill faith in their own children and to be a good role model for their kids. And then to build, of course, healthy relationships. We talk with the children in the dorm program, but especially with the single moms too, about this. When you get out, you probably are going to want to have relationships, again, get married, whatever. So we talk to them about, what does a healthy relationship look like? Some of them have only been in abusive relationships. Maybe that's what they grew up in. It's kind of what they see as normal. And so we talk about healthy relationships and being, finding someone who loves God and will take care of them and love them in the proper way. And of course, again, developing academic success strategies, dealing with all of their emotional issues that they may have. Really, I guess when you look at it, we're trying to work on the whole person and not just a particular part. Some of our recent graduates from our program have done very well after they left us. Jaron, one young man, he came to us through the single parent program. His mother was in the program. Jaron attended high school at Mount Dora Christian Academy. And when he left, he went to a state university up in North Carolina, earned a bachelor's degree in computer science, just graduated last May, and is now enrolled in a graduate program in computer science with an emphasis on cybersecurity. It's like, wow, way to go, Jaron. So Jaron has done exceptionally well. He was a quiet boy. He was at the academy. You wouldn't have really picked him out as one who was going to excel in that way, but he's even expressed an interest in getting his doctorate and maybe teaching computer science at the university level somewhere in the future. And then Athena is someone else. Some of you remember she was a frequent speaker at some of our dinners. She was more articulate than most of the kids are and expressed herself well. And she was also a 4.0 student at our academy, so it's probably no surprise. She went on to Harding University and was an honors graduate from Harding and is now studying for her CPA exam. So Athena's going to have a good future too. There's a young boy named Josiah, young man now, who graduated with us. He as an example of the sports emphasis and the impact coaches can have, Josiah was a football player. He's very talented. Actually, he had 2 brothers. They were all good at sports, but he was exceptionally good at football and had the build to go with it. So he went on to Division I football. Is playing for Texas Tech on the football team right now. He's doing real well. Blessing, I mentioned earlier, is a soccer player at Warner University. She's one that comes back and lives with us on holidays and summer. And in the single parent program, again, many of the same things. I won't read all those, but the parenting skills, again, are something we try to teach, personal finance, managing all these affairs, even down to car, maintaining your car properly so it will last longer, and how to make those kind of dollars stretch. So we have a lot of practical skills that we teach the kids while they're in our program. One of the single moms named Zorlin, she is graduating actually at the end of this year. She's been in the program, she's probably been in the program about 3 years, but she is an accountant and has already obtained full-time employment in the accounting field there in the Mount Dora area, so she will be staying local with us, and she's done exceptionally well in the program. Ashley, another young lady who graduated from us a couple years ago, is a med tech in a doctor's clinic over in DeLand. I mentioned Kim is a preschool teacher and owns her own house. And then our only single dad we've ever had in the program. We always call it the single parent program because it's open to men or women, but reality is we've only had one guy apply, one guy accepted, and his name is Neil. Some of you may have seen Neil in the past. But Neil came to us with a tragedy in his life where his wife had died in a terrible accident at work. And he was just emotionally distraught, had 2 young children, was kind of deer in the headlights, what I do now, these kids and with my life. And so he went through our program, has done very well, has remarried, has a good job, back in his field that he was in before, and is doing fine. Neil, by the way, has a special place in our hearts because of all the single parents, he's been the best in continuing to support us. You're familiar with our Change for Children program, the CAN program? Neil takes cans around to local 7-Eleven stores, convenience stores. He has a little route. And he goes by and puts them out and then goes back and collects and brings them to the campus. He shows up all the time, with, I got some more change for you. So this is something, no one's asked him to do this. He just does it because you guys were, his way of saying, you guys did, meant a lot to my life. This is my way of paying back. So Neil's a special guy. We love Neil. There are a number of ways that, either churches or individuals can help. You guys are familiar with a lot of these programs. The Change for Children program I just mentioned, the food and supply drive that comes through once a year. You guys have helped us with a lot of these programs over the years, and we thank you for that. If you have any questions on any of these programs at any time, please let us know. Some of you may be a little less aware of. We have a Donate Your Vehicle program. If you have really any kind of vehicle, it could be a boat, a motorcycle, a car, whatever. And if you don't need it anymore, maybe an aged parent or something, passes or can't drive anymore, and you have a vehicle in their garage and you need to do something with. We would welcome donations of that type. We usually, of course, sell those and receive proceeds from them. We have a planned giving program. If you don't know what that is, that's kind of helping you think ahead in terms of your estate and what kind of a legacy you want to leave, for the next generation. So how to plan your giving in your last few years, and then also after you pass. So we have a whole program for planned giving that we can talk to you about at some point. By the way, it's Christmas season, and if you buy things through Amazon, you might be aware there's something called Amazon Smile. It's a special program they have to help charities. And you can say, now, you have to use our old name with Amazon. They still have us under Christian Home and Bible School, the name we went by for a long time. And so if you go to Amazon and look for their list of charities, you can say, I want my gifts to get credit to Christian Home and Bible School. So we would appreciate, it's a small thing to do. It doesn't affect the price you pay for goods on Amazon. It's all the same. We have a couple of things going on right now. We have a drive going on for a new academic success center. This is one of our other buildings on campus, the existing buildings that we are renovating to build an academic success center that will serve both the academy and the school. We will have academic counseling, tutoring sessions that will go on in that building, after school, whatnot. There will be a classroom for group sessions. Our single moms will hope they have a weekly meeting. It will be in that new building. And again, kids from the home program often do need help of this type. So we are trying to raise $30,000 toward this building. That's not the total cost, but it's what we're trying to raise to close the gap on what we need. And so we're doing that during the month of November. We're counting this as our Giving Tuesday campaign. If you're familiar with that, it's the The Tuesday after Thanksgiving is a special day of giving to nonprofits. It's a national program. And we've participated in that for several years. But this year, we're really saying, okay, the donation window is open all month. So you give whenever it's convenient for you. But it will culminate on that last day, November 30th, Giving Tuesday. And so if you can give to that program, there's a page on our website right now you can go to and give. If you go to our Facebook page, look for our recent post, you can click through right there and make a donation to our Academic Success Center. But we would certainly appreciate any size donation. As you can see in this chart here, as of last Thursday or so, I think when this was designed, we had raised actually I think about $11,000 at that point toward the 30. So we're on our way toward that. And there's a number of ways you can make a difference in kids' lives, and certainly we encourage you to come down and see us if you get a chance. Any way that you think of creatively that you might want to help and support us. We've had folks call, we have one congregation actually say, hey, we'd like to give a new bicycle to every child on campus. Awesome, great. And so every time a new child comes in, they do that. We have another congregation that remembers each child on their birthday. And so that's a cool, special way to give. So any ways that you think of like that, come and see us, come and visit. And then we have youth groups a lot of times that will come and spend time on our campus, a week maybe in the summer. So if your kids want to come and do that, we'd be happy to work with them and schedule a time and help them kind of create a structure for that program. It could be, I say a week, it could be a weekend, a day, two, whatever. Now, again, youth groups sometimes will combine that. Thanks to our location in Orlando, come down, do some mission work for the Lord, and then go see Mickey. So you can kind of combine both things in one trip very easily and have a good time. These are ways you can contact us. Our website is at the top. And again, if you want to give to the Academic Success Center, if you go there, there'll be instructions on the homepage of the website of how to find more information and give. We do have an active Facebook page. You can find us there and follow us and comment and all those good things. Our social services office, if you're in the audience today and you think, I think I know someone that might could use one of your services. I know a single mom. I know a single dad. I know a child or a family that might could use your services. Social services would be the office to call for that. They can help you with that program. And then our development and church relations office that I'm a part of, are more involved in the fundraising side and of course all those church programs we talked about on the previous slide. So you get in touch with them. We've had senior saints come down, all sorts of groups come down and spend a day or a weekend or whatever on our campus. I want to thank you for time today. Do we have time for one question? Anybody has a question? And we're close to cut off. Anybody have a question? Well, Kathy and I will be around, after Sunday school, of course, after worship service. And if you have any questions, feel free to come up to us individually. And thank you so much for your time and your support.